races remain in the 2023 season. With those 10 races remaining, we arrive to kick off the final stretch here at Mobility Resort Motegi in the Tochigi Prefecture in Japan. And we are here at this little over a mile-and-a-half track for race number 23 of the 2023 season of the Trinity River Cup Series. This is the Ibanez Shinzo Abe Memorial 400 in memory of the former Japanese Prime Minister who was assassinated 1 year ago today. This race is dedicated to his memory and the entire country of Japan, somebody whom I had a great deal of respect for, and I think we're all a little worse off without him in the world. But we've got 52 laps on the board for today's race, and hopefully it is going to be a fun one here at Mobility Resort Motegi. Let's take a look first at the points coming in to this race. After 22 races, Braden Perez leads the standings with 549 towards the championship. He's 15 ahead of Elijah Gordon, 20 ahead of Brad Stover, 30 ahead of Justin Zeidel, 38 ahead of Eric Monaco, 46 ahead of Roberta Crown Jr., 50 ahead of John Andrews, 56 ahead of Jacob Thibodeau, 57 ahead of Chase Buck, and for 10th and 11th, there is a tie between Scott Upton and Thomas Troxel. They are both 58 points behind Braden Perez. Now that we've seen the top 10 of the points, let's take a look at the top 10 starting today's race. It is Christian Vargas on the pole position here at Mobility Resort Motegi. First pole of the season for that driver, starting alongside his teammate and Daytona 500 winner, Trey Smith. In row number 2, we find Brandon Hayes starting alongside teammate Brad Stover. Both of them have won this year, and Brad Stover coming off of a win 1 week ago at Chicagoland. Row 3, we find Jacob Thibodeau starting in the 5th position on the inside of two-time winner this year, Anthony McClure. Row number 4, we find your points leader, Braden Perez, starting this one alongside Blake Parker. And rounding out the top 10 starting, it is Brock Nelson, Gateway winner, starting alongside Caleb Rose. 52 laps on the bill for today's race. Everybody appears to be rolling off here, and we are getting ready to go racing here at Mobility Resort Motegi in the Tochigi Prefecture in Japan, the second international race of the season, joining the Ben Motorsports Park in South Australia, and we are getting ready to get this one going. The third ever visit to Mobility Resort Motegi for the Trinity River Cup Series. We are green flag racing in Japan. It's going to be Vargas coming around to lead lap number 1 here in the land of the rising sun. Trey Smith is second, Jacob Thibodeau third, Braden Perez there in fourth. And we are side by side for fifth, a little further behind. Brock Nelson's going to take over that spot, and Braden Perez trying to get down to the inside of his teammate there coming out of turn number 2. Nose to tail up front, though, Trey Smith on the back side of Christian Vargas, heading off into that third turn, and a big dive there by Brock Nelson to the inside of Braden Perez. That battles for fourth right now in the 73. Looks like he might get it, the Gateway winner. Everybody's still surviving here onto lap number 3. Perez still slipping back on the outside. Nelson's going to get that spot, and here comes Eric Monaco. 5th in the championship points coming into this weekend. He's led the points for the vast majority of the season. He's looking to get back up there. Comes in 38 points behind Perez this weekend. There's Priya McShane getting around the 83 of Justin Zeidel. Zeidel, who's won twice in the last 3 weeks at Road America and then Nashville. He's looking to make it 3 in 4 after missing out on a win 1 week ago, being caught up in a crash. And Christian Vargas came into the pits. What in the world happened to the 05? Well, the pole sitter's going to come down, and that's going to hand the lead to Trey Smith. And he's going to sit there. Don't know what in the world happened to Vargas, but he has found trouble early, and that is going to very much put him behind the 8 ball. Only lap number 5 of 52. And Vargas, who comes into this race 12th in the standings, gained 5 spots after a podium finish 1 week ago in Chicagoland. And it is not to be here early on in Motegi. There's Brock Nelson with a bonsai maneuver around the inside of Jacob Thibodeau. That'll move the 73 into the 2nd position. Vargas still sitting there in the pits. Don't know what happened to that 05. Didn't see any smoke when he was coming into the pits, but we'll keep an eye out on that. Meanwhile, Stephen Colon there side by side with Thomas Troxel a little further back. That's for 10th or 11th, one of those 2 spots. But up front, it is still Trey Smith leading the way. It has been a lockup for All-Star Speed Team. Oh, Eric Monaco down to the inside, turned into the wall by Braden Perez, and Eric Monaco, 5th in the points, has just been taken out on the front straightaway, and it's going to involve a few others. Caleb Rose getting damage on the front of that 15 car. And on lap 7, the first caution is going to come out here at Mobility Resort Motegi in the Shinzo Abe Memorial 400. And that's going to knock Eric Monaco out. Eric Monaco is going to be done with that. All the smoke coming out from underneath the Rhesus Aston Martin number 25. And he's going to have something to say to Perez about that one. Perez, of course, all the way up in 7th. Fortunately for Perez, able to continue on. A little bit of damage, though, on that left side, so it looks like he's going to go ahead and come into the pits, as will Thibodeau and McShane. We'll see if anybody else does. Trey Smith, the race leader, coming into the pits. So Brock Nelson's going to inherit the race lead here in the land of the rising sun. Some other drivers coming in. Caleb Rose, Brad Stover, and Alejandro Cruz Jr. No surprise, Caleb Rose coming down after being caught up in the incident with Eric Monaco, and there's Monaco. Looks like a steam engine coming around turn 4. And he is likely going to fall out now. That's such a shame. He looked like he was getting ready to have a rebound. Only 4 top 10s on the whole season, but he's been up front and deadly consistent for most of the year. And this is going to hurt his championship hopes. So that will put Eric Monaco, at least for the time being, in 39th, as Christian Vargas is still in the pits. Marked 3 laps down for the time being. He'll be 4 laps down when they come around next time. But it's Brock Nelson who leads the way. He'll lead the field to the green flag here shortly. Let's go back and take a look one more time at what happened to Eric Monaco and Caleb Rose. So here's what happened coming out of turn 4. There's Braden Perez into the side of Eric Monaco. Turns the 25 down the racetrack hard into that inside wall. And Monaco is going to spin up the racetrack, get it righted right there, try to come back up. The caution's already out at this point, but he goes up the racetrack right into Alejandro Cruz Jr. and Caleb Rose, who have absolutely nowhere to go, and that just tears up more sheet metal, insult to injury for Eric Monaco. The first one was not self-inflicted, but don't know why he went up the racetrack necessarily. But Braden Perez, goodness, that is not a good look for the points leader. And under this caution as well, Trey Wright in the 95 has found trouble, and he will join Eric Monaco behind the wall here at Mobility Resort Motegi. Wright coming in 23rd in the championship standings, and this is not going to help anything for that 95 team. We're back with your live picture here at Mobility Resort Motegi, race number 23 of the 2023 Trinity River Cup Series season. Brock Nelson leads the way. Caution coming out on lap number 7 involving Eric Monaco and Caleb Rose. Trey Wright also falling out under the caution. Green flag is back out in the Ibanez Shinzo Abe Memorial 400. Cologne takes a look to the inside of Biller right on the start. Justin Zeidel there in third, just behind the Iowa winner, Brandon Hayes. Now taking a look to the inside out of turn 2. And Cologne's going to take over that 4th spot. Oh, Zeidel's got a problem now. Heading down the back straightaway. He's very slow. He might have a tire down or something. Going through the turn, he's going to get down into the pits. And oh my goodness. 4th place in the championship has now found trouble, as has Trey Smith, who led the early green flag run. And we want to make sure everybody makes it through this all right. Yes, looks like they're going to make it. But goodness sakes. A couple of other drivers coming into the pits now, joining Christian Vargas, who is still in the pits. So Nelson and Hayes at Cologne round the turn. That spreads everybody out on the restart. As that was very tight coming out of turn 4. I thought McShane was going to put Sterling up in the wall. Thankfully, no. Zeidel is still down in the pits. Zeidel's going to come out now. Smith is out on the racetrack again. So they'll be a lap down as a result of that. So it'll be Nelson coming around to lead another lap here at Motegi. Brandon Hayes is all over the backside of that 73. We'll see if Nelson makes a mistake. Hayes is going to be right there. This is a very unfamiliar situation here at Mobility Resort Motegi for what we've had here in the past races in the Trinity River Cup Series. Not really seen anybody have that sort of situation happen to them like we saw with Zeidel. But the field is very spread out now, and that cost Perez badly. Perez was 7th, and he is now back there battling with Priya McShane for the 33rd position. Perhaps it's karma for what happened between him and Eric Monaco that brought out that caution a little bit ago. But into 3, Nelson still leads the way. Hayes a little up to the outside. Through the 3rd and 4th corner. Nelson got a really good exit out of that 4th turn. So Hayes is going to slip back a little bit from that 73. Going to try to gain all that ground back here in the first set of corners. And there's Zeidel coming out of the pits again. We'll see here. Are they going to be able to get by? Oh, that cost Anthony McClure a little bit. Lost a little bit of ground there on Thomas Troxel. So Zeidel now 2 laps down. Or he'll be three laps down. He'll be after that. Zeidel is 3 laps down. Trey Smith still on the racetrack. The last car on the lead lap right now. He's the other one that came down with Zeidel. Zeidel had an extended stay. Meanwhile, side by side back here for the 4th position. That's William Brock outside, Kanan Biller inside. The Season 2 champion, Kanan Biller, is going to make it work coming out of 4. And William Brock never won in this series before. He's won on this channel before. In the Scots National Series and the old CarQuest Indy Racing League. Got it done at Riverside in CarQuest. Got it done at Gateway in Scots. Both in the 2021 season. Went winless a year ago. Driving for the Ruby Motorsports team. The 00 Pontiac. But while Nelson has pulled away from Hayes, Cologne is closing in on that 84. And we'll see if the Phoenix winner can maybe throw something at the two leaders. Potentially make it a 3-car battle for the race lead. As they head down the back straightaway here, lap 18. We've seen some drivers come down already into the pits. Some others have not yet. We're still expecting that main cycle to happen about lap 30. Here's William Brock going down to the inside of Kanan Biller. That is going to be for the 4th position. And Biller's going to have the run on the high side. No! Instead, Brock is going to hold on that inside line. How about that? Haven't seen that a whole lot here at Motegi. Usually the outside gets a big run coming out of 4. Not the case that time through. But up ahead, Hayes has caught Nelson, and I think it might be in part due to the fact that the lap traffic of Trey Smith is right in front of this 73. This is going to make things interesting for sure. Nelson comes in 17th in the championship standings. Hayes comes in to this race with a win already this year. Both of these drivers have wins this year. But Hayes at this point of the season, let's see here, sits in the 32nd position in points. Nelson is 17th. And Hayes comes in 121 points out of the championship lead. Nelson only 82 back. So both of these drivers looking to make a big statement today. With 10 races left, they're looking to climb their way up the standings. Nelson, I believe, right now has the bonus for the most laps led. It's going to be Stephen Cologne there in 3rd, Kanan Biller 4th, William Brock 5th, and then Anthony McClure, Mitchell Collins, Thomas Troxel, Mitchell Henderson, and Chase Buck the top 10. Here's Buck down to the inside of Henderson, though, for that 9th spot. Henderson tries to get that outside going. The outside has just not been there coming out of 4 today. So it'll be Buck taking over the 9th position. Up front, Nelson now has caught the 10 of Trey Smith. Hayes slipped up to that outside line. And so down the back straightaway, Trey Smith, who sits in 35th right now, just there ahead of the leaders. We'll see if Nelson's going to be able to get by. We'll see if Hayes can pounce. Meanwhile, right now, where's your points leader, Braden Perez? He is 32nd right now. And at this point, if you're someone up front like Brandon or like Brock Nelson, the tires are really, really worn at this point. So the pit cycle coming here very soon. Again, toward the end of lap 30, we should expect it to really start kicking off. Which is pretty typical for most 1.5 mile tracks, even though this is a little more than a 1.5 mile. It's 1.549 miles. Nelson there, he's tried to get around the 10 of Smith, has not been able to just yet. Brandon Hayes is right there, lurking behind if Nelson makes a mistake. Stephen Cologne, little over a second back, 1.1 second behind that 73. And then it's another 1.6 back to William Brock, who is 2.7 behind the 73. Nelson got a bad exit out of 4. Here comes Brandon Hayes down to the inside in the Ally Chevrolet. The Ally Dr. Pepper colors aboard the Ken Block throwback for Polar Star. And Brandon Hayes on the inside The rookie moves into the lead for the moment. We'll see if maybe Nelson can fight back on that outside. Drawn to within about a half a car length up there. But Hayes dives in the inside. And Nelson will slip to second. Hayes will take the lead, coming to the end of lap 25 here in the Ibanez 400 at Motegi. So just to check up again on your championship contenders right now, the top 5 in the championship right now, as we here have a side-by-side battle between Andrew Williams and Keegan Thompson. That's for 16th. Give it to Andrew Williams. The top 5 of the championship right now, Braden Perez is 32nd. Elijah Gordon is 26th. Brad Stover, winner 1 week ago, currently sits in the 31st position. Justin Zeidel sits 36th, 3 laps down. And Eric Monaco currently is out of the race. Actually, he's gonna end up being 39th as a result of the incident he was in. But there's Hayes down to the inside of Trey Smith. Gonna put the 10 of Smith a lap down. And Nelson was not able to get by. Oh, man. Strength of that 73 looks like it's going away. As the caution's out, as Dale Lightning is stalled on the back straightaway. So Dale Lightning, the Pocono winner, stalls on the backstretch to bring out the second caution of the race. And that'll bring us right into the pit cycle. We're sitting just past halfway here. And I would imagine we're going to see almost everybody come into the pits. Of course, Trey Smith will get his lap back. Zeidel will get a lap back. So Zeidel will be 2 laps down, and Trey Smith will be on the lead lap as a result of this caution. We'll see everybody go ahead and come into the pits. As was to be expected. Don't quite know what happened to Dale Lightning. Didn't really see a trail of smoke behind him. Almost wonder if it was a suspension issue or something like that. We'll take a look as soon as we can. Meantime, we'll see who wins the race off of pit road here under this caution. You see McShane and Thibodeau coming out of the pits. Thibodeau's just now coming down to his stall. And Trey Smith will go ahead and get his lap back. But the winner off the pit road, Brandon Hayes, wins the race off. Nelson second, Stephen Colon third, William Brock fourth, and Anthony McClure fifth out of the pits. Among the lead lap cars, of course. So the caution out here at Motegi. Brandon Hayes is going to lead us to the green flag momentarily. Real quick, let's go back and take a look at what happened to Brandon Hayes, or to Dale Lightning. And so here's what happened to Dale Lightning, and it looks like it could have just been a tire or something. Don't see any smoke coming out of that car, and he's already come back out onto the racetrack. Does the right thing, though, gets up in that outside lane, but still some cars passing a little closer than I'm sure he'd like, and I'm sure closer than what the officials would like, so the caution was thrown for that one. Oh my goodness, Alejandro Cruz just barely missing the 5 of Lightning. Back with your live picture again here at Mobility Resort Motegi, race 23 of the 2023 Trinity River Cup Series season, the Ibanez Shinzo Abe Memorial 400. Brandon Hayes leads the way, Brock Nelson second, Stephen Colon, William Brock, and Anthony McClure round out the top 5. Caution coming out for Dale Lightning stalling on the back straightaway. That promotes Trey Smith to being back on the lead lap. Dale Lightning is 1 lap down. Justin Zeidel 2 laps down. Green flag is back out at Motegi. Hey, McClure taking a look to the inside, as does his teammate Roberto Crown Jr. a little further behind. Crown going to get around Collins, and McClure is going to go for 2. Brock and Cologne in 1 set of corners. 3 wide behind Marty Sakala down to the inside, around the inside of McLeese and Upton, and now going after Thomas Troxel. 3 and almost 4 wide ahead. Crown was on the outside of that cluster. Brock Nelson. Where in the world did Brandon Hayes go? Now Sam Adio stalled on the back straightaway. Sam Adio stalls, comes to a stop, and Brandon Hayes has just come into the pits. What in the world? So for the second time now, somebody comes down to the pits immediately after a restart, and that promotes Brock Nelson back into the lead. Now teammates side by side for second. Roberto Crown Jr. inside, Anthony McClure outside. McClure with a big dive up top in that 24. But give it to Crown down to the inside. They're going to take over the second spot. And Samadio still down there in the pits. Don't know what happened to the defending champion. Crown's going to go for the lead on Nelson. Crown has never won in the series before. Nelson's won twice. Out of 4, Crown pushes the 73 out wide and takes the lead at lap 34. Kanan Biller following a little further behind. Biller has not been to victory lane this year, but he's won 6 times in this series, including a series, along with a series championship in previous seasons to boot. He sits in third behind Brock Nelson. McClure 4th, Cologne 5th. Troxel there slips up behind on Kyle McLeese. McLeese sits in 10th, Troxel 11th, actually 11th and 12th, as Buck got around the 27. It's up ahead, it's still Roberto Crown Jr. leading the way. Comes in 6th in the championship and has never won in this series before. With points leader Braden Perez sitting back in the 31st position as well. This could be big for Roberto Crown Jr. This could be big for everybody that is running up towards the front in the championship standings and running up front in this race as well. Kanan Biller there tried to get to the inside of Brock Nelson to no avail. Yeah, this could absolutely be massive for Chase Buck. Chase Buck sits 8th on the racetrack and 9th in the championship. He's just outside of a race worth of points back from Braden Perez. Elijah Gordon sits 27th right now. Brad Stover sits in the 29th position. Justin Zeidel still 2 laps down in 35th. And Eric Monaco's out of the race. And then there's Roberto Crown Jr. Roberto comes in 46 points behind Perez. And this could be a major win to promote Crown back up into championship contention. Biller around the inside of Nelson. Cologne and McClure side by side behind. That is for the 4th position on the racetrack. Cologne the Phoenix winner. And McClure, who's won at both Minnesota Motorsports Park and the Bend this year. McClure's teammate leading the way right now. Roberto has been so dejected this year. Being the veteran driver, a second-year driver in the series, and Anthony McClure is a rookie and has won twice for Wisconsin Racing Incorporated this year. Roberto Crown Jr. has been close, but has been no cigar. Will today be the day? They're going to have to hold off the Season 2 Series champion and the all-time winningest driver in points races in this series. Out of 4, down the line again to start lap 39. 14 laps to go. Running an average race speed of 127.48 miles per hour. We've had 2 cautions today already. For very minor deals, thankfully. It's been a pretty clean one for the most part. Here goes Biller. Down to the inside of Crown. Crown trying to fight on the outside, but Biller makes it look like easy work. around the inside of the Spotify number 3. And there's Brock Nelson going down to the inside as well of Roberto Crown Jr. into the first and second turn. And the Ryan Durrani Incorporated driver is going to take over the second spot. So that'll move Crown from first to third just that quickly. But Kanan Biller, who's not won yet this year, has 2 wins in every single season of competition that he's taken part in the Cup Series. 2 in his championship winning season in the later half of 2020. 2 in 2021, and 2 1 year ago, driving this 81 car 1 year ago. Got his wins at Gateway and Kansas. He's actually won twice at Kansas in his career, so he better than just about anyone else knows how to get to victory lane on the 1.5-mile track. But there's Crown down to the inside of Nelson, and Crown's going to try to catch up to that 81 once again. Sekela around his teammate Stephen Colon there for 4th, and Marty has not gone to victory lane this year. Now sitting at 11 laps to go. What a topsy-turvy race this is shaped out to be. So much has happened, and yet it doesn't seem like a lot. Now Max Sterling has fallen out of the race. Max Sterling has fallen out with a gearbox issue, and Paul-Antoine Cyr is in the pits. A lot of mechanical failures of sorts happening in this one. But Crown went wide out of 4. Here's Nelson down to the inside at 10 laps to go. Half a second difference between Biller and second place at the line. Nelson inside of Crown, side by side out of 2. Nelson will take over the spot. Sekela trying to dive to the inside of that 73. Gonna go for a 2-for-1. And job well done. 4th to 2nd in a corner for Sekela. 0.6 seconds behind Biller, though. And Sekela's 2 career wins. Coming at 1.5-mile tracks at Las Vegas and Atlanta. Could today be the day? Last year it was for Polar Star Motorsports. This year for EL Alpine Racing and owner Ethan Lewis. Out of 4. Teammate Stephen Colon a little further back there, making a move on Brock Nelson for 4th. Here's Crown going back down to the inside for 2nd. And meanwhile, Kanan Biller says, guys, keep it up. 0.8 of a second lead that time through. Crown back down to the inside of Sekela. They almost contact coming out of 2. Crown trying to clear the 11, and they're going to. So now, coming around for 7 laps to go in the Ibanez Shinzo Abe Memorial 400 at Motegi. 3/4 second the difference. And Kanan Biller is just hoping that we do not have a caution. Roberto does not want Sekela to get down to the inside. They stay singled out. They might just catch Biller. So for the time being, they may well have to work together. Even though you know Sekela is anxious to get around that 3. Lost a little bit of ground that time. 0.75 to 0.77. The gap between 1st and 2nd. Now, Colon's going to try to get to the inside of Sekela. Could teammates battle for 3rd? No, not just yet. Parrish there on the outside of Brock Nelson. That is for 5th. And give it to Nelson. Oh, Colon! A boot! Scoot! And he's trying to boogie on by Marty Sekela. But he'll have the advantage at the line. At now 5 laps to go. Biller up front by 0.98 seconds over Roberto Crown Jr. 3 wide now coming out of 2. Where did Blake Parker come from? Haven't hardly mentioned Blake Parker all day long. And here he is running in the top 10. Make it the top 5 with 4 laps to go. The gap up front, though, staying roughly the same, 0.95 seconds between Biller and Crown. But Biller is going to catch the 83 of Zidell. Oh, is that going to hold Biller up? I think he had to get out of the gas before getting in behind Zidell. Before getting down low. I think he might have lost some momentum. 0.69 the difference. Boy, this one's not over yet. 3 laps to go. Biller trying to be mistake-free. The same for Roberto. Roberto has been so close. 2 of the last 3 races. Running in second on the last lap, pressed against the bumper of the leader. I'm sorry, that was Christian Vargas. Vargas did that the last 2 or 3 weeks. 2 of 3 weeks. But Roberto did it at Atlanta. Had a chance to get around John Andrews late, but couldn't get it to work. Now, could they have a chance on Kanan Biller as he comes to get the white flag? 1 lap to go in the land of the rising sun for Kanan Biller, looking for his 7th career win in a points-paying race in the Trinity River Cup Series. He'd be the first one to do that, and he'd stand alone. Oh, he's slow on the inside! Oh my goodness! I was getting ready to call him home to win, and he's slow on the last lap. Roberto Crown Jr. has moved into the point. Stephen Colonen behind in second. Is he going to have a chance to get around the 3? Out of turn number 4. Down to the start-finish line. Unbelievable! Roberto Crown Jr. A shocking last lap victory in Japan. Whoa! The impossible has happened! And Roberto Crown Jr. is finally, at long last, a Trinity River Cup Series winner. And a bizarre circumstance at the end of this one. A very strange race. But Roberto Crown Jr. benefiting on the last lap of a failure of some kind from Kanan Biller. And Crown is going to go to victory lane, finishing with an average race speed of 134.024 miles per hour, just a little under 0.2 of a second ahead of Stephen Colon. Marty Sakala 3rd, Ace Garcia 4th, Brock Nelson rounds out the top 5, Blake Parker 6th, Will Parrish 7th, Kyle McLeese 8th, Alex Lozano 9th, and Chase Buck rounds out the top 10. Taking a look at the rest of the standings, 30 cars finishing on the lead lap, Kanan Biller finishing 1 lap down. Just no clue what happened to him on that last lap. Dale Lightning finishes a lap down. Justin Zidell 3 laps down. Nicholas Samadio 4 laps down. Paul-Antoine Cyr 16 laps down after whatever happened to him. Max Sterling, Trey Wright, Caleb Rose, Eric Monaco, and Christian Vargas unable to finish this one. Absolutely bizarre race here at Mobility Resort Motegi in the Tochigi Prefecture in Japan. Big congratulations, though, to Roberto Crown Jr. for finally getting it done and winning in the TRCS. And we will see you folks next week back in the United States at the Texas World Speedway, south of the greater College Station, Texas area. That should be a very fun race. First time we'll have gone to that track since the first season of competition, and it should be a good one. Hope everybody enjoyed this one. I hope you're looking forward to the rest of the races this year. 9 remain before we put a bookend to the series. One more congratulations to Roberto Crown Jr. We'll see you next week deep in the heart of Texas. Until then, y'all take care, stay safe, and have a good one.